When this kid was in 6th grade, he asked his teachers if he could get paid to clean up gum from under desks and chairs. They said sure. So he was getting paid $5 every time he cleaned up gum. Well, the principal found out about this and asked him if he could clean up the gum from under the tables in the lunchroom. He said sure. It was a nice little side hustle, but then he had a brilliant idea. He was gonna start selling gum. So he started buying these packs. This one's only $5 from Target. It's 8 packs with 15 pieces of gum in each pack. That's 120 pieces of gum, and he sold each piece of gum for 50 cents. He was making $60 after selling one whole thing of gum. But here's the kicker. Every time he sold somebody a piece of gum, he asked them when they were done with the gum if they could put it underneath desks or the lunchroom tables. So he would have to clean up the gum more often and make even more money. When this kid was in middle school, he bought a shoe customization kit, and he was skilled enough to design stuff like this on people's shoes. Well, he decided to start a business. He charged kids $10 for him to customize their shoes. But more and more people started getting interested in this, and business started booming. So he raised his price to $50 per customization. Things were going great, and he was running this business for 3 months, until one day the vice principal walked in on him in the bathroom designing some shoes. The vice principal saw him and told him that he had to ask the principal if he could continue. Well, the principal said, yeah, for sure, keep going. And he did. He continued this business for 7 months. But then one day, a school board official was visiting the school, and the school board official caught him in the bathroom as well. He was then shut down completely. In total, he made about $11,000. That's insane. One day, this kid came to middle school with pink eye. He didn't really tell anybody about it, because if the school knew he had pink eye, they would make him stay home. Well, this was right around the time where classes were having some of their biggest tests of the year, and students were getting stressed out. Oh, dude, I couldn't study at all this week. I'm gonna fail this test, like, it's bad. I tried my best. Hopefully I passed, but you know. What's wrong with your eye, dude? I have pink eye. Oh my god, you have pink eye? Why are you here? Because they're serving chicken nuggets at lunch today. I can't miss that. Dude, if you give me pink eye right now, I'll have it by tomorrow and I won't be able to take the test. Gives me more time. Dude, all right, $10. Okay, here. All right, you ready? Go for it. Okay. Well, word spread, and that day, this dude made $350. The school got pretty suspicious why tons and tons of students had pink eye at the same time. They couldn't really pin it on anybody. And it was a win-win. This kid made some good money, and tons of students were able to pass their tests because they had more time to study. One day, when this kid was in 4th grade, his glasses broke. Oh man. But it didn't really matter because in most of his classes he sat in the front row, so he could still see. Well, after a few days of going to class without his glasses, one of his teachers said, "Kyle, I see you still don't have your glasses. Are they still broken?" "Yeah, but it's fine. I can still see the board." The thing with this teacher though was that she would always write assignments on the board for students to work on during class. She would never explain the assignments. Students would just read the board and then do their work. But anyway, she said, "Kyle, it's been 4 days now. Your parents should have gotten you new glasses at this point. You're sitting in the back of the class." Okay. All right, so this is what needs to be done before the end of class, okay? Get to work. Oh, I can't see it. What the heck? Sit down, Kyle. Hey, Stacy, can you tell me what the board says? Yeah, it says, Stacy, don't you dare tell him what it says. I'm teaching him a frickin' lesson. I hate my life.
That's a pretty nice convertible.
This kid's always the first one on the bus every single day, and he'd walk in and he would go directly to the back right bus seat. And he would do this because about 15 minutes into the route, there was this bump in the road that the bus would hit every day. And if you were in that back seat, it would launch you up, and it was awesome. And the driver knows this, so he would hit that bump at full speed. It's coming, here it is. Well, he experienced it a bunch, and then he had a brilliant idea. Every day people ask, "Hey man, can I try that seat today? Bro, let me try that seat today, please." And when people ask, he starts saying, "Well, what do you got?" One kid pulled out a Twinkie. "All right, deal, have a seat." The next day, someone else says, "I'll give you $2 for the seat today." "Anyone got something better?" "I got Sour Patch Kid watermelons." Deal. He's auctioning off that seat every single morning. People are offering Doritos, money, their lunch desserts, their entire lunch. Whoever wins gets the launch, and the whole bus always counts down right before it's gonna happen. All right, you ready, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Oh, nice. And that, my friends, is awesome. Funniest homework answers of all time. This question says, how would you make a marriage work? And the kid said, tell your wife she looks pretty even if she looks like a dump truck. I mean, I guess that's true. What ended in 1896? The kid wrote 1895. He's not wrong. This kid's name is Frankie. It says, I earn money at home by, and then he wrote, I don't, I am a freeloader. He's being honest. I love this one. This assignment required a parent's signature. He just wrote mom. And this one. This assignment required a kid to do math and show their work. And where this kid was supposed to show their work, all they wrote was this. I can do meth. I think they meant to say math though. Funniest homework.
You're being scammed.
When this kid was in 6th grade, he had a 3D printer. Well, he had always tried to figure out a way to make money off of the things that he 3D printed. And then one day at school, he realized that tons of kids wore Crocs. So he had an idea. A Croc charm in the shape of Dwayne the Croc Johnson. He first made a few for his friends, and they loved it. And when other kids saw his friends wearing this charm, they wanted some too. So he made tons of them, and he began selling them for $3 each. He was making crazy profit because it didn't cost him a lot of money to make at all. Business was absolutely booming, but he began having trouble keeping up with the demand, so he hired a few of his friends to help him do the selling. Well, one day when he was sitting in social studies class, the principal came in and asked to talk to him in the hallway. He was very nervous because he thought he was going to get shut down. But all the principal said was, so I heard you're selling Croc attachments in the shape of the Rock. That's pretty interesting, and I was wondering if I could buy one. Gotta respect the hustle. There was this kid whose locker was in the best spot of the school. It sat directly under one of the school's air conditioning vents. It's nice and chilly over here. Nobody paid attention to it, not really even him, until one day he throws a Gatorade on the top shelf of his locker. Comes back a couple hours later, whoa, this is ice cold. And it's cold. So the next day he tries it again with a soda, a warm soda. He puts it in the morning, he checks it after lunch. Well, that's a crispy soda. That's when he gets an idea. Instead of filling the top shelf of his locker with his own drinks, he starts renting shelf space. $1 to keep your drink in there until lunch. $2 if you want it until the end of the day, to have a cold drink for practice or something. People didn't believe him at first. Dude, there's no way your locker is like a refrigerator. Until one dude tried it. He went to pick up his Dr. Pepper before lunch, and it was cold. No guys, it actually worked. It was first come first serve until the top shelf of the locker was rented out completely. And there was always someone who couldn't get a spot because it was booked up. Kids lined up before the first bell at his locker, holding milk, Gatorade. One kid said, will it freeze my ice cream? He had it organized. He put sticky notes on with the person's name so he knows whose was whose. Teachers found out, but they were just amazed. Like, yo, what a smart kid. And what a strong air conditioning vent. And according to the students, that was the most valuable locker in the school. Yeah, I believe it. And guess what? You gotta respect the hustle.
Ever wondered where your family...
Every day in elementary school, this kid sat right by the vending machines. And the vending machines sold Snapple. And everyone loved Snapple. The Snapple was sold for 75 cents. But whenever people bought it, they would just put $1 in and get their quarter back. That's when he got this idea. What he began doing was he would take a big wad of napkins with a tiny string attached, and he would shove it in the part of the vending machine where the change comes out. So whenever kids go and buy their Snapple with their $1, they would not get that quarter. And because it's just a quarter, the kids are like, oh well, at least I have my Snapple. After lunch is when he would go to the vending machine, pull the little string with the napkin attached, and collect all the quarters that were stuck up there. He was getting like $10 a day, which isn't crazy money. But what's brilliant is how he got the money. You gotta respect the hustle. It's 7th grade and this kid Lucas brings a bunch of Costco gum to school. Tons of packs. Every single flavor. And he never made a big deal about it, but he would pull them out here and there so that people could see. And naturally, they would ask for a piece of gum. And when they did, 50 cents. Oh, I don't have any money right now. Oh, that's fine. Pay me later. And that was his thing. You know, at first people were like, he's not gonna ask for that money later, you know? It's just a piece of gum. But that's where they were completely wrong. Because after he would give someone a piece of gum and say, pay me later, he would pull out a tiny notebook and write down the debt in that notebook. Everybody had a tab. Their name, their flavor, and how much they owed. But the thing is, he wanted this debt to grow. He would walk up to them. Hey, so you still owe me from last week, but I just got this crazy new watermelon flavor. You want a piece? I'll just put it on your tab. And he just kept stacking debt on top of debt on top of debt. Until finally he decided it was time to collect. He goes to the 2 biggest kids in class. Carl? Mordecai? Yeah. I'll give you 10%. Here's the list. Get me my money. And they would go around school with the list. Hey, you got Lucas's money? I'm here to collect. And these kids were big and intimidating, and people did pay him back. Lucas made like $175 before this whole thing was shut down. You gotta respect the hustle, I guess.
see all the cameras in your city.
When this girl was in elementary school, she got in trouble for using a big word. Something upset her in class, and she used the word vexed, which means annoyed, frustrated, worried. Well, the teacher overheard and yelled at her. The teacher said that she should have just used the word angry. Well, her teacher then sent a note to her mom, explaining the situation. Her mom marked the teacher's note for errors in red pen, and sent it back to her with a note that read, "When you can use proper English, you can correct hers." Legendary mom. When this girl was in the dumbest school rules ever. This one elementary school had a rule where a student, if they were feeling sick, would not be able to go home or call their parents unless they had a fever or puked. Well, one day this kid's stomach was super messed up. He wasn't feeling good at all. "Miss, can I go to the nurse's office, please? Ow." So he goes to the nurse's office. "So it's a stomach ache, huh?" "Yes." "Yeah. Yeah, it hurts so bad." "Well, you don't have a fever and you didn't throw up, and you can't stay here. I have to send you back to class. I'm sorry." "Are you serious?" "Yeah, you know the rules." Well, this made him super mad because his stomach was actually hurting pretty bad. So he stared at her, and with incredible focus and pure dedication, he somehow managed to get himself to throw up right on the nurse. "Can I go home now?" The school changed that rule shortly after that. The dumbest. When this kid was in 3rd grade, his school had fake money that they would give out to students who behaved well. Every morning, right before school started, there would be this convenience store type thing set up for students who had this fake money to buy stuff like school supplies, candy, snacks. Well, anyway, during spring break, this kid and his family went to the beach. And every day, this kid would walk the beach and grab every single seashell he could find. He put them all in a bag and took them home with him when spring break was over. He took these seashells to school and told all of his classmates that these shells were from a fantasy island and that they were magical. Kids actually believed him. Everyone started asking him for the seashells. He said, "You can have some seashells, but you have to give me all of your fake money." And kids did it. So every morning he was buying stuff from the convenience store, and the teacher was getting a bit suspicious. "Hey man, how are you always able to buy so much stuff? You must have amazing grades. Anyway, here's your candy bar." "Yeah, that's it. I have amazing grades. Thank you, mister." He eventually got caught and got 1 detention. When this kid was in 3rd grade, the dumbest rules parents had their kids follow. When this girl was in high school, her parents had this very strict rule. "All right, love you guys, I'm going to my friend's house." "Okay, don't forget the rules." "I won't." The rule was this: she had a curfew every night, and for every minute she was late after curfew, she would be grounded for a week. So if she was 2 minutes late coming home, she'd be grounded for 2 weeks. Well, one day she was stuck behind a train. Come on, come on, come on. It was one of those long trains. You know what I'm talking about. Well, it was passing for 10 minutes, causing her to be 10 minutes late, Marissa. Do you know what that means? You were 10 minutes. Honey, please, I got this. No. 10 minutes late is what? 10 weeks. Excuse me? 10 weeks. 10 weeks, very good. You're grounded for 10 weeks, now get to your room. Oh, God, I hate them so much. Stupid rule. What the heck? What's a pineapple doing in here?
Okay, class time, hon.
People who were legends in their high school. There was this one teacher at this one high school that never let anybody use the bathroom, no matter how many times they asked. There was this one girl in class who hated this teacher, and the teacher hated her. Every day, she would always ask if she could use the bathroom, and the teacher said no. Well, on the last day of school, this girl was in this teacher's class. She asked the teacher twice if she could use the bathroom, and the teacher said no. This is what happened when she asked for the 3rd time. "Miss, can I please use the bathroom? I really have to go. I swear to God, if you ask me one more time, no, you may not." "Okay, fine, but just remember, you did this." The girl then stood up, stared at the teacher, and peed her pants. She got in big trouble, but she went home and told her parents about this, and her father was a urologist. Her father called the school, and this teacher got into huge trouble. People who were legends in their high school. There was this one teacher at this one high school that never let anybody use the bathroom, no matter how many times they asked. When he was 10, his grandpa asked him, "What do you want for your birthday?" And he says, "A brick." "A brick? Why?" "Because my parents still have this super old TV. If I throw a brick at the TV, we'll have to get a new one." "Oh, I'm just kidding. Maybe just some Pokemon cards or something." The grandpa just smiles and nods. A couple months later, this kid's birthday comes around, and there's a beautifully wrapped present on the table. Heavy, perfect corners. The kid opens it. Inside was a single brick. The grandpa's losing it. Grandpa, you're crazy. I can't believe you remembered. And the grandpa leans in and says real quiet to him, wait till your mom's in the kitchen and then we'll waste the TV. So the kid's mom goes into the kitchen to grab the cake. The kid takes the brick, smashes it in the TV. TV is destroyed. What happened here? Now we gotta get a new TV. Yes. The grandpa took the blame for throwing the brick at the TV. I don't know why I did that. Then the kid says, it's okay, Mom, please don't be mad at Grandpa. I'll help you pick out the new TV. Okay, fine, you're right. It's okay, Pops. You'll be okay. Just sit down and relax. I'll clean this up. The mom then leaves to grab the broom. Nice work, kid. I love you, Grandpa. What a nice story. This teacher said he has a thing he does whenever he loses control of his class. He grabs a stapler and says, anyone want to put a staple in my hand? The physical pain would be nothing compared to how I feel right now, when all I want to do is help you guys reach your full potential, but you don't care. Somebody then usually doubts his seriousness and says, yeah, I'll put a staple in your hand. That's when he walks up to their desk, puts the stapler down, and puts his hand down and says, do it. The students usually give a nervous giggle and they pretend to do it, but they never do. Well, one day he did this little stunt again, and a student was like, yes, mister, I'll put a staple in your hand. He brings a stapler over, puts his hand down, and the student actually staples his hand. He didn't freak out or anything. He calmly looked at his hand, asked, did that really happen? Pulled the staple out while blood trickled down, and he said, are we done? Can I go back to teaching now? All the students were completely shocked. The kid that did it felt so bad that he stapled his own hand at the end of class. This teacher said, don't put your finger in a Tesla Cybertruck. Look at all these car trunks. When they come down on something, they seem to sense it and come back up. Probably to protect people's hands, fingers, stuff like that. But the Tesla Cybertruck seems to be a different story. It just full sends the trunk down without any regards to what's in its way. See for yourself. Don't put your finger in a
I've been secretly controlling the TV from my phone.
The dumbest rules parents made their kids follow. When this person was growing up, his parents wouldn't allow him to use public restrooms at all. Even on trips to Disney World. If he had to go to the bathroom, they had to go all the way back to the hotel, which is bogus. When he was in elementary and middle school, at the start of every year, his parents would call the teachers and told them to let them know if their son ever used the public bathroom. If he was caught using the public bathroom at school, his parents would punish him when he got home. Growing up, there was no place he could safely use the bathroom other than his home without getting in trouble. When he got to high school, the parents tried the same thing. They called the teachers and said, let us know if he ever uses the public restroom. The teachers in high school thought that was weird, and they never followed through. So he got away with using the bathrooms in high school. But it wasn't until college, where this kid was finally allowed to use any public bathroom he wanted without fear of being punished by his crazy parents. This Jesus statue began leaking water, and people thought it was a miracle, but it definitely wasn't. In 2012, when water began trickling down this Jesus Christ statue at a church in India, everybody thought it was a miracle. Hundreds and hundreds of people were gathering there every day to collect some of this water. People were even drinking it because they thought it could cure diseases, but this man right here was not buying it at all. His name is Sunal Idamaruku, and he wanted to see it for himself. So he traveled to the statue, and he did some investigating. He went to a building nearby, and that's where he found drain pipes that were severely clogged. Turns out, the water that was trickling down the statue was coming from a broken sewage pipe on the other side of the wall. So the water these people were collecting and drinking was sewage water. Sunal then shared this information with everybody, but the people did not want to believe it. Instead, Sunal received hundreds of death threats, and the Catholic Church sentenced him to prison. This Jesus statue began. When this dude was a kid, his mom made him memorize this phone number. Not hers, not his dad's, just the emergency number. He asked her once, whose number is this? If something bad ever happens and I'm not here, call this phone number. That was it. No explanation. So every week he would test himself. He would mouth the number silently in the mirror. He would write it over and over again in notebooks. It became this quiet obsession of his, like he couldn't stop thinking that one day he was gonna have to remember this number. Well, years passed, he never called it, until one day in college, it just hit him. Yo, something just hit me. He still remembered every single digit, so he called the phone number. Big Dan's Pizza and Wings. Hello? I said Big Dan's Pizza and Wings. It was a pizza place. So he called his mom, he told her that he finally called that one phone number, and all she had to say was, "Oh, that place is still open. We loved their salad." Like, what does that even mean? When this dude was a kid, this school prank lasted for 2 years. It all began at this high school when a single rubber duck appeared in the school's water fountain. And nobody thought much of it. It was just a random duck. Who cares? Until the next day, 2 ducks, then 4, then 10. By the end of that week, there was rubber ducks appearing in every sink, every toilet, and even in students' lockers. Teachers were losing their minds. The principal, she was done. She kept saying on the intercom, "Whoever's responsible for the ducks, speak up now, please." Silence. Nobody confessed. So they gave up. They figured it would eventually sizzle out. But here's the thing, it never stopped. For 2 years, rubber ducks would randomly appear in the craziest of places. Ceiling tiles, inside the vending machines, somehow. One duck even appeared in the vice principal's car. It became a legend till this senior year. It was graduation. The principal was giving her speech when suddenly a banner dropped down. What was on the banner? A single rubber duck. This kid walked to the front of the stage and said, "It was me. It was always me." This school prank
welcoming summer with a
This mom is the worst. When this girl was in 7th grade, she was spending the night at one of her friends' houses. Well, it was time for bed and they were in her room. "No, I think he likes you." "Yeah, right." Her friend's mom then comes in to say goodnight. "All right, girls, time for bed. Lights off." The mom then closes the door and then deadbolts it from the outside so the 2 girls couldn't sneak out. Well, a few hours later, this girl woke up and she had to pee. She tried to leave the room and... Come on. Kayla. What? The stupid lock. I have to pee and I can't leave the room. Can you hold it in? No, I'm gonna pee my pants. Fine. Her friend then grabbed a wire clothes hanger from her closet, and they managed to unlock the door from the outside. Of course, the mom heard that. Finally, what do you think you're doing, huh? Huh? There's a lock there for a reason. I just had to pee so bad. I don't care. Get out of my house right now. Mom, please. Shut up. But Miss Stevens, I live 20 minutes away. My parents were sleeping. You can walk. This mom is the worst. When this girl was in 7th grade, she was This teacher is the worst. When he was 9 years old, he had a teacher that hated him. He was kind of a chubby kid, and one time he didn't do his homework and she flipped out. "This is your workbook. You're supposed to do homework in your workbook. I don't see your homework." She was flipping through it so hard she ripped a bunch of pages. But she wasn't done. She then, in front of the entire class, started screaming at him even more. "You know what, Kyle? You're probably too busy stuffing your face with sandwiches and Twinkies that you didn't have time to do your homework. You're so fat." She then made him go to the back corner of the classroom and stand there with his hands straight up in the air until class was over. "Hands up, Kyle." He went home and told his parents what happened. The next day, they came into school with him. They went to her room and asked why she did that. To which she replied, "I'm sorry, I don't recall that happening. I think your kid might be making it up. I'm sorry." This teacher is the worst. No one has ever got 100% in my class. Oh yeah? Watch this. So there's this teacher that every single day brags that no one has ever got 100% in my class. My tests are just too hard. You know, and everyone just kind of tunes her out. But this one kid, let's call him Chris. Chris studies like crazy. He wants to prove her wrong, takes every quiz, takes every chance for extra credit. Final exams come and he's locked in. He's done, turns it in, he's feeling very confident. The next day, the teacher passes out the exams. 98%? Damn, you did good. Almost too good. Were you cheating? I'm just kidding. My tests are hard. No, I mean I should have got 100%. Okay, settle down, all right? I'm serious. Pull out the answer key. See? Look, right there. Wrong and wrong. Chris looks at the 2 questions she marked wrong. Then he looks at her key. One of them is a trick question. The other answer on her key is just flat out wrong. My answer is right, miss. Your key's wrong. No, it's not. That's absolutely impossible. Chris grabs a textbook off her desk, flips open to the exact page he needs, slaps it down. Right there, paragraph 3. She leans over and reads it. Chris just smiles. "So do I get my 100 or do you need me to grade the rest of the class as well?" She doesn't say a word. She just crosses off the 98% and quickly scribbles 100% on his test. After that day, she never bragged about her tests being hard ever again. No one has